This is The Blockchain Show. The Blockchain Show is a podcast that demystifies and promotes widespread adoption of cryptocurrencies and distributed ledger technology.
Today we have Bill Ottman on the show, the creator of Minds Crypto Social Network.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, so Minds, Minds.com, is a crypto social network where creators are rewarded with tokens for their daily contributions. So based on the engagement you receive, referrals you make, check-ins, you get a daily contribution score, and then that gets divided by the contribution score of the whole network, and that equals your percentage of the daily tokens. We're running on sort of a hybrid on-chain, off-chain on Ethereum to kind of work with some of the scalability issues. But yeah, I mean, basically we have mobile apps for iOS and Android, web app, and we're just trying to help people be rewarded for their contributions. Everything's open source, totally transparent, encrypted. Our messengers, we have no access to the content of people's conversations. We try to do everything the opposite of how the establishment social networks do. And because they're dropping the ball, they're just exploiting everybody.
Okay. So that brings me onto a load of questions. So first of all, why another social media platform? I've just subscribed to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm avoiding Snapchat. Why should I use your platform? Tell me.
I mean, those platforms exploit users. They mine your data. They spy on you. They surveil you. They share your data with we don't even know who. They don't reward people with any crypto or revenue options. And there's no transparency. They're not open source. They go against all of the principles of the Bitcoin blockchain world. So, it's not to say don't use them, but if you look at the algorithms on Facebook especially, it's hardly even worth posting there. I mean, we used to run, we still have them, but pages on Facebook with millions of followers. And you used to be able to actually reach some of those fans. But now the algorithm on the news feed, you're only reaching about 3% of your own followers, and they want you to pay to reach more. So it's like, even if you have a big page, you can hardly reach people because their news feed is showing you what it wants to show you as opposed to what you decide to see. So what we've done is, so you earn the tokens, but then the key is that you can use the tokens to get essentially free advertising on your content. You can use a tool to boost your posts. Right now, one token gets you about 1,000 extra views on your posts. You can also send your two tokens peer-to-peer to other users on a monthly recurring basis. You can get access to different rewards. So it's sort of like a crowdfunding tool. And I think that it's inevitable that an open source, more value-based network rises up.
Fabulous. So this is perfect timing, especially with the latest information about what Facebook is doing with our data. And the other fact, which I've been reading about this week, is that young people aren't using Facebook. They don't understand why us slightly older people who are over 20 use Facebook. So I think it's a good time for a platform such as this to actually come into the mainstream and to be used. How many people have you got on the platform currently?
We've got over 1 million users now.
Wow. Well.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing really strong growth, especially, every decision that the major networks make, whether it's, messing up the algorithm more, spying on people, demonetizing is happening all over YouTube. There's censorship occurring. So, these things just drive people to emerging alternatives. And I look at it as I look at like Wikipedia, for instance, or WordPress, both of which are open source. And Wikipedia is a top 10 website in the world. And it's totally driven by, ethical system of values, transparency, Creative Commons. And it's just, this is going to happen with social. Bitcoin and blockchain is an open source distributed alternative to, money systems. Every industry is ultimately, in my opinion, going to be disrupted by an open source decentralized alternative.
In makes a lot of sense, and it is the future. The decentralization point of view is a massive element that nobody's actually controlling it. It's going to grow organically. So I totally agree with you on that one.
The other thing to bring up in terms of our differentiation is, so we're a network with lots of active users and a community of ourselves, but anyone can actually take all of our code and create their own node or network and their own app. And so that it's imagine if Google or Facebook let you create their own Google or Facebook. That's kind of what we're trying to do. Some organizations might want it to be fully internal, maybe even totally private. Others might want to be public, and there could be some sort of federation happening. And we're looking to, potentially tie the token economy between networks. Right now, we're actually on the Ethereum testnet. We'll probably be going on to the mainnet later this summer, but the token is totally usable all throughout the network. And we're just making tweaks to the reward system, really getting community feedback, doing security audits, and just designing everything so that it's as it should be as soon as we go live.
What is the advantage of setting up your own node?
It really depends on the scale of your network. So, say like a university, they may want to be running their own node. Just because they have their own, they want to do their own curation. They want to, they already have a pre-existing very large community. But if you're just like an individual brand that is, focused on other things, then you would just probably want to set up a channel on Minds. It really, I guess it depends on sort of how tech-focused the entity is.
And does this integrate with traditional social media, or is this totally separate at the moment?
You can cross-post to the mainstream social networks if you want to. We have those tools. A lot of people want us to take them out, which maybe we will at some point.
I can imagine. And how much can I earn? I know it's very difficult to say because it depends on the pot per day. But how much roughly is the average user getting back for actually hosting using your site?
Well, it's interesting, especially with all the regulatory stuff going on. We're looking at it from sort of an internal network perspective. We're not, all of the stuff going on with securities legislation, we are really trying to respect that legislation and not, sort of fumble between the securities and utility. So, honestly, we're not going to know that until it goes live. But even then, we are not really able to really pursue that conversation. If people are going to do what they're going to do off Minds, then that's sort of going to happen organically. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the blockchain show, we need to set up our own. Do we set up our own group? Do we set up our own channel? What would we do? Yeah,
I would say that would be the best place to start. Set up your channel, similar to like on YouTube or Twitter, and then if you want to make a group, you can make a group. Other features that we have are we have a whole blogging platform similar to Medium. We have encrypted messenger for just one-to-one messages, but then we have like an open group chat in groups. We also have, really cool trending ranking stuff for seeing what's popular on the network. You have a whole wallet where you can manage your people who are subscribing to you monthly in crypto payments, manage your rewards. What I think is important is for anyone who's interested in blockchain and crypto to just show solidarity with alternative networks. Not even just us. There's a couple others out there that are doing interesting things. And it's not to say you have to abandon your, pre-existing social networks, but what helps networks grow is engagement and activity. And that's what allows us to raise more funds from our community. We did an equity crowdfunding round last year, so we're totally like community owned and operated, and And engagement is what allows networks to grow. I think people don't really realize that, like, when you log into an app, you are giving that app power. So it's not as simple as like, oh, Instagram is, convenient and like, seems like it's not Facebook, even though it's owned by Facebook. But there's a dark side to participating. Like when you open your browser and if you use Chrome or Safari or Edge, I mean, you are giving those corporations money, essentially. So that's why it's important to use like Brave or Firefox instead. Like these sort of micro movements on the internet really make a difference.
Yes, and I do have friends of mine, actually. It involves a discussion in the pub, as it always does. But one day they were talking about something, and next day there was an advertisement for it within Facebook. And they looked into this, very intelligent people, and they actually moved towards putting Facebook into a VPN and then actually removing Facebook from their mobile device, simply because the only way it could have done it was listening to what they're saying.
Yeah, there's been all sorts of articles and investigation about that, and I think it's definitely happening, and people have done pretty controlled experiments, but they still won't admit it. So I think that I don't think the full verdict is out on it, but there's definitely something going on. I mean, it's happened to me too.
Yeah, I agree. And I've seen those videos on the internet where people have done that testing. Yes, it is a bit spooky until you realise where that information is coming from. But also, if Facebook's listening to me, then it must have a lot of information which it doesn't really need, I'm sure. But it's probably listening to us now and thinking about where it should advertise. And I'm sure it won't be advertising Minds, but it'll certainly come up with something. So in this time we've been talking, I've managed to log in, I've set up my own profile, I've made a post, I've looked through the images, I've looked through the videos and the channels. It's that simple to do. So if you are listening to this, go to minds.com and go and have a play with it. The one thing I can't see is apps such as Facebook apps. I imagine you don't do that. You keep everything central, as in you've got control of all of that content.
You mean apps as in like third-party integration?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that we're going to be opening up documentation to an API, probably maybe like later this year. Some people have built some apps and extensions, but we don't have like any kind of a showcase yet. What I recommend to anyone listening or yourself is, you'll start earning tokens after you start getting some engagement, and just make sure to boost. If you just go to your page and then click the little boost button on your post, and it'll ask you how many tokens you want to spend, and just I highly recommend doing that, because what many people are finding is that even though we're a fraction of the size of the juggernaut, it's actually in some cases easier to gain a following on Minds than major social networks. Like, I know people who have been on Twitter for like 10 years and they've got 80 followers and like thousands of posts. And that happens on all the networks. And the reason for that is, even if they have good content, they're not hitting the viral nerve, and there's no path out of the void. And so our boost tool, because you can earn the tokens, you sort of get this free pathway out of the void. And yeah, a lot of people are really finding success with it.
Bill, that was really amusing, because just when you said that, I was clicking on the boost button to see what I did on the top right. So I've just boosted a post, and I used half a token, and I've boosted it to 500 people. So let's see what happens. It's certainly interesting. Myself, I want to consolidate my social media. Every morning, I don't want to look at Twitter and then Instagram and then Facebook and then Minds. So it's going to be an interesting experiment in regards to this.
Yeah, I think consolidating is totally fair thing to want. I just think that right now I have consolidated by leaving Facebook and Instagram and those, and I focus on Minds now, and I get better reach there. But I know a lot of people have already built up audiences, so it's not that easy to leave. And it would be good if we could integrate with some of those. I've used tools like Hootsuite before to post to all the networks at once, but I don't know. I didn't really like that experience. I kind of like going directly to the app.
Yeah, it sounds like Minds is a lot more organic and real as opposed to.
I agree.
The Facebook thing is just seems like it's lacking a soul now. I don't know how to describe it. I feel like I have Stockholm syndrome.
I think we got tricked into thinking it had a soul, and then it was just more obscure what they were actually doing. And so we sort of thought they had a soul because everybody was going there in droves, and you had all your friends there, and you were like connecting with people, and that was obviously a really valuable experience. And now that Facebook says it's going to start getting into crypto, and they just started allowing some crypto ads back, and so that they're going to probably release some sort of butchered and contorted proprietary crypto product, and it's shades of gray. It'll be probably somewhat good, but it'll also just be more of the same old nonsense.
It's interesting you say that, Ethan. I'm totally in agreement with you that before this whole Facebook thing blew up about privacy, etc., it was like a little community, it's a little friendly place. Everything was good. I'm sharing my photos. There we go. I can see what people are doing. And it was good. And now I feel that everybody's thinking, what am I posting here? Am I going to be criticized? Is this real news? It's sort of taken some of the fun out of it, and it's become more of a serious entity in that regard, and less fun. But that's always the problem, isn't it? Something fun always becomes a business, and then all the fun goes out of it. What about events? I use Facebook a lot for managing events and seeing which bar I should be frequenting on a Saturday night. Do you have anything like that within Minds?
Not yet, but I definitely want to build an events feature. It's just sort of one step at a time. I mean, I envision that at the end of the day, as long as we get enough global developer support and can be successful with the features that we have, obviously the direction to go is what Facebook and Google are doing, just in more of a decentralized and transparent way. All apps are kind of becoming the same thing now. If you look at Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, it's like you open them up and it's the same. You can stream, you can upload video, you can, you have a news feed. They're all coalescing into essentially the same feature set, which is pretty interesting. And now they're all kind of competing in the same playing field, buying up little companies to fill in the gaps. And honestly, that's what the blockchain and open source world needs to do. We need to start building some sort of a unified solution.
And what about your organization? Is that supported by, how did this grow to a million users? What's the sort of history?
I mean, very naturally. We started actually way back in 2011, went to work just like building out scalable architecture. We didn't do our really main launch until of our initial mobile apps and we used to have an internal digital currency. There's more of a point system that sort of paved the way for tokens to come in. But we launched then, we had a huge surge of about, 250,000 users in like just a few days because of our encryption and privacy features and anonymity, optional anonymity. And then we just slowly started growing from there. I mean, and organizationally, we're a Delaware company, but we haven't taken on any kind of institutional investors. We did an equity crowdfunding round, like I mentioned last year, through WeFunder. We actually set the record for the fastest to $1 million with 1,500 community members investing. And, now we're going to do a token launch later this summer. And we're also doing another equity round and just trying to keep it as community-driven as possible.
That's definitely a lot of momentum coming up. That's pretty exciting, man.
Yeah, I can't wait to connect with you guys on there, and let's make sure that we keep the conversation going. If anyone out there wants to connect with me on Minds, my username is Ottman, so minds.com/OTTMAN. And then let's keep the conversation going.
Absolutely, this is something that's very exciting. I like this a lot. I like the clean interface. It's very clean. It's very easy to use. You can see what you're getting, and it's very rewarding, hopefully. Do I get rewarded for referring other people? Is there a subscription link I can send out to get other people involved?
Yeah, if you go to your settings, you can grab your referral link, and you can also grab sort of the extension at the end of that link, and you can post that. You can add that little extension to any link, whether it's your channel or your video. And so anyone who comes in through any link that you post with that extension, you'll earn tokens for that. You also earn tokens just for checking in hourly. You earn for receiving votes, comments, shares, and a number of other things. If you click on the little wallet icon in the upper right, sort of like a bank icon, you'll see sort of a breakdown of the whole reward system.
That's great.
Fabulous. Yes. You're going to bring all these other features to the platform. What does the future hold? What do you see happening? Do you see many other platforms being created like this, and the one with the most subscribers is going to win? Or do you see a whole plethora of different platforms out there within the blockchain universe, and people choose which one to use?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, I hope that we can keep growing, and our nodes can start spreading. And I do feel like we're differentiated from the pack. There's a lot of crypto projects out there that claim to be doing social networks, but you log in and there's like nothing there. There's no one there. There's no features. Nothing's really going on. There are a couple. I think Steemit is out there. They're doing some interesting things, but it will also be a network of networks. And there's a cool protocol called ActivityPub, which is sort of a federation cross-posting protocol that we're going to be adding in so that we can connect with other networks on different infrastructures. Yeah, I mean, I would just stay tuned on the site. Make sure you sign up, and you'll be hearing announcements for us about when the token's going live.
Cool.
We don't have any specifics right now, but it's happening soon. And if people have feedback, it's greatly appreciated. So there's if you just hop in the support group, let us know what you think of the reward system. We're going to be making final tweaks on it. It's important to us to make everybody happy and for it to be very fair. I think that the main differentiator between us and Steemit is that on Steemit, your voting power is pegged to how much Steem you hold. So basically, it's sort of like this. I'm not honestly being a hater, but the whales control the whole network. So if you get a vote of a whale, then you make a ton of money. On Minds, everybody's vote is the same. And so in your rewards are based on the number of unique engagements that you're receiving daily. Because we really don't want to be in a position where somebody can just come in and get a lot of tokens and then be controlling the whole network.
We support you, and thanks for supporting us. I hope everyone listening to the show get rid of the old social media and let's join Minds.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate the conversation. Make sure to post your interviews. I'll help share them around and drive the traffic your way too.
Fabulous. Well, I'm already on it. I'm sure Ethan will be getting on it, and we make sure the rest of the team get on it. We will set up the blockchain show on Minds, so look out for that over the next 2 days. If you are listening and looking at the website, it's minds.com, and you can connect with Bill at Ottman, Ottman, and find out more about it. It's really something worth playing with. And if you are driving home from work, then ask Siri or Alexa to remind you to log in and have a look at this, because this is something very worthwhile. And it's quite embarrassing that I don't know anything about this and haven't seen anything about this before today, but I'll be sure to be using it far more in the future. Bill, thank you ever so much for your time. It's been enlightening.
Yeah, thanks for the questions, guys. They're really tuned in.
Right on. Thanks, Bill. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Cheers, Bill.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of The Blockchain Show. Thank you to Bill and the team at Minds. Thank you to Zena for setting up this interview. And thank you, Ian and Mark, the WordPress wizard. Thank you to Sarah for doing the artwork. And as always, thank you for listening and downloading this episode. Please share with your friends if you can. Stomach that. If you could give us a positive review, if we deserve it, on either Apple Podcasts or wherever you enjoy this podcast, it really helps us get the word out there and bring new people into the blockchain show space. If you have any comments, ways that we can improve the show, the email is in the show notes. That will go to me. And
To learn more, visit theblockchainshow.com.